that. I'm a huge proponent of paywalls. I don't understand why there aren't any. I know it doesn't completely get rid of the problem, but I think that even if you were to do like maybe like a pay per view, but that's kind of, I think that's maybe over-regulating. I'm not really sure, but just like some kind of verification that it's not a 7-year-old. It's someone who's at least old enough to have a credit card, and maybe some kind of age verification process. But I think someone who's maybe overindulging in something like that, like that's just the symptom, right? So we have to try to figure out why that's happening. Like, why is that avoidant behavior, showing up? Why do they want to spend more time with themselves in the screen and not with real people? I don't think it's just porn, right? You see that again with video games and with people that are spending more time in Minecraft, and now you have Meta, and we have this huge community of people that just don't want to be in the real world. So why is that?
It's a really good point. And I was going to ask you, do you think people sometimes have an inappropriately, unnecessarily negative view of the industry? Do you think people sort of demonize the industry sometimes for, as you say, things that happen in many other industries?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
It's interesting that you say that because, for example, one of our former guests, Anna Fleischman, who is an evolutionary biologist, one of the things she talked about in one of her articles was that in societies where there's a lot of porn consumption, actually violence against women goes down and sexual violence goes down. Mm-hmm. So I know it feels like maybe we're sort of coming at you from a moralistic angle, particularly initially, which we're not. We're just trying to, probe the arguments and find out what you think about stuff. But it's interesting. So do you think, it's a weird question to ask, but do you think we would be worse off if we didn't have porn?
I think if you look at countries that heavily repress or regulate your sexuality, there's a lot more violence and there's a lot less freedom. So obviously you can't say causation, right? All you can kind of do is look and try to find patterns. I mean, with the boom of the internet, that's kind of one of the things with the porn industry is they tend to be on the forefront of technology ever since the internet, right? Like that's what it was back in the 90s. And there was a drop of something like 80-something% in sexual abuse and rapes in the US. Again, you can't say causation, but it's just an interesting pattern.